Okay, my studs for the oil pan came in today, so echo, stop. So I thought I'd just make a quick video getting ready to put the oil pan gasket on and put the oil pan on. I wanted to go with studs this time because if you've ever been under the car and trying to either loosen the oil pan or remove it from underneath when you got bolts going up and you're underneath it, it's not fun. So I found these on Summit. ARP charges I think 60 or 70 bucks for a set of these, but this is the brand is Canton or Canton, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they were 13 bucks, so it was a no-brainer. So what I'm going to do here, excuse me for walking in front of the camera, I'm getting ready to put the oil pan gasket on here, and I'm just gonna put a little right stuff in the corners where these things always tend to leak. And I tell you, this right stuff is, it's like magic. I read on some of the forums where a lot of guys say they don't use it because you can't get the things apart, or at least not very easily or whatever when you use this stuff. But I haven't found that problem. In fact, when I had to take this timing cover off the old engine, I had just put it on a couple weeks earlier with this stuff, and all you have to do is get a thin blade screwdriver or a putty knife and get it in between the two surfaces and just break the seal a little bit, and once you do that, it'll come right off. So I love this stuff. So what we will do, hopefully, I'll try to get this on quickly, and then I'll do a little editing. You don't have to watch all the nitnoid stuff here. There we go. Okay. Right. On the inside. I was a little generous with it. When I took the oil pan off the old engine, there was quite a bit of RTV in the pickup. I think I put that in a previous video, so we'll get this off of this one just to make sure we don't have that problem. Oh, and one thing I want to point out quick again to guys who are doing a change like this, where you're trying to keep your 289 front engine stuff for clockwise rotation and all that. This is the harmonic balancer I bought from Summit, and so far I'm really, really impressed with this thing, but I'll say more about that later. But there's a few things you've got to remember. Of course, I put a new oil pump in, and the oil pump's the same no matter what. But the 289 has a front sump oil pan, so when I got a new pickup to go with the new engine. So just make sure you order the pickup for a front sump. Don't order it for, if you get a 5-liter engine, don't order a pickup for whatever year your engine you bought is, because if you do, it's going to be a rear sump, so it's going to be a pickup that's coming out here, so it won't be right. So I threw a little paint on the, I guess it would help if I turned it the right way, wouldn't it? I threw a little paint on the oil pan today, just to clean it up a little bit. So we get that on there. The 4 end studs are a little larger than the other ones. And I'll just stop this here and I'll start again after I get this down. Nobody needs to watch me just put all these nuts on here, but I'll start again after I get done here. Okay, we're back. Got the oil pan on, and I will definitely use these studs again. This was just perfect. These are stainless steel. They look great. They were easy to put on, and they're going to be a lot easier if I ever have to do any work on the oil pan in the future. So, big plus there. 13 bucks off of Summit. This is the harmonic balancer that I bought from Summit. It's a 50 ounce for the 5-liter engine, and I bought it because it has the multiple bolt pattern, so I can use my 3-bolt hole. I hope that's coming out in the thing, but my 3-bolt hole pulley from my 289 instead of having to buy a newer 4-bolt pattern pulley, which is what the 5 liters have. So I got that, and I had the #1 cylinder on top dead center when I installed this. And once I installed it and I looked at my pointer and timer, which I'll show in a minute, it was right on 0. I mean, it's perfect. And so, and this thing, I can't remember if I mentioned a minute ago, but it's got the timing marks in 3 different spots around the dampener. So whatever configuration you're using this engine, it'll have the timing marks already on it for you. So that's really good. This is a 289 water pump, clockwise rotation. Let me show one thing before I turn the engine over. I was talking in my last video about the clearance. This is the shaft on the timing cover where the where the fuel pump's going to go, and you can see the fuel pump eccentric in there. And I'm trying to shine the light down there without getting a shadow. But anyway, there's about 1/8 of an inch clearance between it and the back of the timing cover in there. So it's perfect. It's going to work great. And let me turn the engine over and I'll show a couple other things. I just want to show some stuff for guys that are doing this same thing I'm doing, where they're putting a 5-liter engine in a vintage Mustang. Put that in there temporarily. I got the valve covers from Summit, 28 bucks. They're black, powder coated, seem to be a real quality product. And the reason they were so cheap is they're stock, but several of the reviews, the guy said even though they're stocked, I guess they're made just a little bit higher than stock. So they clear the roller rockers, and they have baffles in them, which my Mickey Thompsons didn't have. So that's a real good thing there. So that ought to work great. And then here is the timer pointer, and I also put fingernail paint here to mark 0. That's where my 0 mark is. I'll put the fuel pump in tomorrow. I'm just waiting on my bolts for the flex plate. I just decided I didn't want to reuse the old bolts, so for 15 bucks, I'll wait a couple days and I'll put new bolts on, especially since it's a new flex plate. But I wanted to show you another thing you need to remember when you're doing this conversion. The 5.0 liter engine has normally has a rear sump oil pan. So the dipstick goes in the block right here below the number 7 and 8 cylinders. And that's where it goes. So mine goes in the timing cover right here in the front, which is where I want it to go, because it's a front sump, obviously. I put the front sump oil pan on it. And so what I did was, and again, this is nothing that I came up with. I just found this searching different forums on the internet. this is a 3/8 inch dowel. I just bought it, and I shaved off a little bit around the end so it would fit in that hole. I put it in there, and then I tapped it in a little farther, so it's not coming out. But I left a little bit of it out there, so for whatever reason, if I ever decide to go to a rear sump or whatever, I can jerk this out with a pair of vice grips, and I can put a dipstick tube in there, so no problem. And all the guys on the forums that have used this said that once it gets hot and it gets wet, that wood just expands. It soaks all that up, and so it's never coming out unless you want to pull it out. So that's why I did that. So we're all set. So everything's set as far as putting the engine in the car. Just got to put the flex plate on. So as soon as those flex plate bolts get here, we'll pull this off the engine stand and mount the flex plate, and then we'll drop it back in the car and hopefully make another video once I get her ready to run. But here's what she looks like right now. Get this off of here. So it's getting pretty close. Pretty close. And by the way, for the folks looking at this on my YouTube channel, if you got any comments, please leave them. If there's something I missed, please let me know. If there's something you think I didn't get correct, please let me know as well. And thanks to my buddy Chuck Bell on my last video for giving me a nudge and reminding me that holding the camera in one hand and doing the job in the other, he was nice about it, but it's not fun to watch something like that when it just gives you a jerky camera. I've got it in my hand right now just because I had to walk around the engine and show you some things, but I do have it rigged to a tripod now, so I can keep it a little steadier while we're doing this. And on a side note, I don't know if you can hear the music in the background, but that's a radio station here in town in Phoenix, and it's kind of cool because Alice Cooper lives here in Phoenix, and he has a job as a DJ on this station at night. So every night from like, I don't know, 7 to 11 or something, he's on there. So I get to listen to him and listen to some cool classic rock as well. So pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for now. That's what's going on with the engine. Like I say, a couple of days, we'll get those bolts, we'll put the flex plate on, then we'll be ready to drop it back in the engine bay.